After approximately a 3.5-hour weather delay, we welcome you back to Fayette and Davis Field. It's supposed to be homecoming today for CMU. They had to hold the festivities in Puckett Fieldhouse this afternoon. Hopefully the lightning is all away from us, and now it's just a little bit wet here on the field on the campus of CMU. Aaron Mosier, Austin Thomas with you on the Hart Conference Network. Thank you for sticking with us. What a long delay that was. Benedictine on top right now, 17-7, just underway in the second quarter. 2 touchdowns from Jackson Dooley, 110 yards through the air. CMU capitalized on a muff punt by JoJo, and Jordan Guile found Elijah Jar on a flea flicker. They punch it in, or they find Elijah Jar for the touchdown after the flea flicker, and that leads us to a 17-7 ball game, along with the 50-yard field goal by Christian Klobe. Austin has to be such a mental thing at this point, having to come back out of the locker room. They did that once, and then now you have to wait another couple of hours, 3.5 hours in total off the field.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be an interesting trick if you can come back from this and be stronger than you were beforehand. For Central Methodist right now, I think it works out in their favor a lot more than it does Benedictine, especially considering the score. You know, entering the second quarter, Central Methodist is still in this game. They're down 10 points right now, but they could be coming back with a big stop right here. They needed to get some momentum back, and while, yes, it does hurt, you guys kind of go back and you have to re-warm up, it does get you into a new, fresh perspective on this game and a chance to create your own momentum out of the locker room.
Big challenge here for Dave Brown in his third year, leading the Eagles, along with for Joel Osborne, his 5th season leading Benedictine. 3 straight Hart South titles, 43-13 record overall.
Just so impressive what he's been able to do with this Benedictine team, and really leading them to a good spot right here, and could be even better with the way that this season looks out for them. They really have their eyes on Grandview right now. I think that's what their focus is, but they can't let go of any individual game on the path to potentially another Hart Conference championship.
I was surprised that we're still here. Decisions were pushed back, waiting for the Lightning to get out of the area. And it's a difficult travel situation if you were to expect Benedictine to try to find hotels or even drive back to Atchison today and then come back for tomorrow afternoon. And so the final decision is made. And the Ravens retake the field in CMU territory, 45-yard line, moving left to right on the near side hash. 14:33 to play in the first half. The Ravens on top, 17-7. It's a whole new ball game at 4:55 here on this Saturday afternoon. Dooley hands it off, and Jackson bursts through the middle. A good pickup on first down. So second down and 6 after the 4-yard pickup to the 41-yard line. Jordan Jackson getting an equal amount of time as Ugorji. He lines up to the right of Dooley with Tyler Watson moving into the backfield. And now Jackson to the left side. Dooley backs up and lofts it out of bounds. Incomplete off his back foot. Intended for Titan Osborne on the near side, out of bounds at the 20-yard line. That brings up 3rd down and 6.
Great blitz from CMU right there. Andrew Laws, Matthew Higginbotham, both of them got into the backfield real quick and forced an errant throw.
They're down 6 to go, near side hash, 41-yard line of CMU. Jackson Dooley lined up all alone in the backfield. Jackson in motion from right to left. Dooley steps back, quick throw, fires it for a completion and a first down as well at the 35-yard line. Nice reel in by Cameron Dover, and that moves the chains for the Ravens.
Central Methodist avoiding giving up that deep shot early on in the return to the game, that's something that plagued them back prior to the delay.
Drenched field, Davis Field in Fayette. First down, 10 to go from the 35, middle of the field in CMU territory. Play action, Dooley drops back, rolls to his left, eyes downfield, and then rifles it for the end zone. It's incomplete. Into no man's land, intended for Zimmerman at the goal line. Second down, 10 to go.
Defensive line doing just enough to put pressure on Dooley to make him make that throw a little bit earlier than he would have liked. Had a man open downfield, had two men open downfield, but couldn't locate.
Dooley 8 of 13 today, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's in the pistol on second down and 10 from the CMU 35. Zimmerman and Watson, the tight ends. Play fake, Dooley keeps it himself, follows his running back for a good pickup to the 28-yard line. A delay quarterback run behind Jackson, who leads the way. Third down, 3 to go from the 28-yard line. CMU territory. The Ravens came in 47% on third down conversions this year. That's top 15 in the nation. Ugorji checks in as the running back to the left of Dooley. Osborne in motion from right to left. Dooley gives to Ugorji, who is tripped up from behind. He got just back to the line of scrimmage, and that is the defensive standout this year, Travian Harrell Jr. 9.5 TFLs entering the day. As of right now, the Ravens keep the offense on the field. Fourth down and 3, middle of the field at the CMU 28. Great pursuit on the backside by Harrell. Benedictine keeps the offense on the field. Great fourth down conversion rate as well this year. Dooley in the gun. Belti snap, tosses it to Ugorji, the left side, and he breaks a tackle and trips and stumbles forward for a first down. CMU almost had him in the backfield. Dante Lewis with the pursuit, but could not make the play on Ugorji. And he picks up 3 yards to the 25, just gets the first down. Ball at the far side hash. Dooley up by 10. 17-7 over CMU. 11-11 to play in the first half. Good ball over the middle, complete to Sukarski. And that's another first down for the Ravens inside the 15, or right at the 15-yard line. A 10-yard completion. And the Ravens in full control of the offense with the veteran QB Jackson Dooley. Top 5 in the nation in touchdowns and yards. First down, 10 to go from the CMU 15. Ugorji, the running back to the right. They fake it to him. Dooley rolls to his right with plenty of grass in front of him, and he takes it himself to the 10 and waltzes out of bounds to the near side all the way to the 8-yard line. Man coverage for CMU. Nobody picked up Dooley out of the backfield. Second down and a couple to go.
Strong improv from Dooley on that play, and that's what you get with all the experience that he has.
Second down, 3 to go from the 8-yard line, near side hash. Ravens moving left to right, and this is Ugorji up the middle, bouncing it, and then is lassoed down. Matthew Higginbottom, along with Harrell, combined for the stop, and that brings up third down. Back to the line of scrimmage, no gain on the play. Third down, 3 to go.
No gain on the play. Third down, 3 for the Ravens. Ball at the Eagle, 8-yard line.
9:50 to play first half after a 3.5-hour weather delay. Ravens on the move, picking up right where they left off. In the gun, Dooley, middle of the field. At the 8-yard line with Ugorji to his left. Belti snap. Dooley rolls to his left, fires it complete for Osborne, who turns down the far sideline for a touchdown. An 8-yard connection with Osborne, and the Ravens extend the lead. The 6th touchdown of the year for Osborne, the 6'2" redshirt freshman from Washburn, rural Kansas. It's 23-7, Benedictine on top. Clobie out to attempt the point after. Dooley holds. And the point after attempt is good. And the Ravens didn't even look like they experienced that delay. No rustiness, no drowsiness. They punch it in.
Well, a slow and methodical drive from Benedictine, and the other couple of drives that they had, they were mostly big plays that pushed them down the field. This one, not so much. It was moving the chains time and time again. So maybe a little bit of a different perspective coming out of the locker rooms, adjusting to the wet conditions out here. Don't want to take quite as many shots, maybe not going to be as able to. But regardless, they still seem to have the momentum, able to put up another 7 points.
24-7 lead for the Ravens. 9:26 to play in the first half. The number 3 team in the nation, only blemish was a 3-point loss to Grandview a few weeks ago. The defending champs, the number 1 team in the country. End over end kick taken by Joseph at the 10-yard line on the far side. He cuts it to the far sideline and races out of bounds past the 25. Late flag out from behind the play.
Joseph on the return for CMU.
Holding. Return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
CMU, the guilty party, 66 yards per game of penalties. That's 5th in the Hart Conference. So that brings out the Eagles offense, who has scored once today. Has had some other positive moments. In the pistol, penalty backs them up to the 12-yard line on the far side. Eagles moving right to left. 4 down linemen for the Ravens. Lomax takes the carry off the left hash. And off the left tackle, he is met quickly. He lost a yard. He stood up.
Late movement from the defensive line of Benedictine on that, and it seemingly threw off the blocking assignments for Central Methodist, which allowed the Ravens to get into the backfield so quickly and stop him for a loss.
2nd down and 11 from the 11-yard line, middle of the field at the CMU 11. The shadow of their own end zone. Guile drops back to southpaw, looks right, flushed out of the pocket, and he is dropped right at the goal line. They mark him down at the 1. He just avoids a safety. A loss of 10. And that brings up 3rd down and 21 from the 1-yard line.
Not quite the pocket presence there that you were hoping for from Guile. Got to make sure to avoid this next one. Pushed way back, cannot afford to give up a safety.
Pocket collapsed on him. Ravens show blitz. Under center, Guile hands it off to Lomax off the right side, cuts it upfield down the far side hash. Drags defenders for a great pickup to the 20-yard line. He's still a couple yards short of the line to gain. But an impressive effort to avoid the safety and the best run of the day for the Eagles. However, still 4th and 2, and they send out Castillo.
I'm rather surprised sending out the punter in this situation. It's 4th and 1. You just had a great play running the ball. And down 17 right now, need to get yourself some momentum.
Castillo sends away his 5th punt of the day. Spiral fair caught by JoJo at the 38-yard line. at the 43-yard line.
Benedictine takes over first down 10.
Benedictine takes over up 24-7. 7:17 to play in the first half. On the road in Fayette at Estes Field. They've won 4 straight in this series. At the Ravens' 43-yard line. They take over middle of the field. Jackson Dooley with 3 TDs through the air today. Spreading the wealth as well. Ugorji, the running back to his right in the gun. Belt high snap, give to Ugorji off the left side. Looks to extend it, spins, stays on his feet, and lowers his shoulders for a first down across midfield to the 47.
That is a nasty move by Ugorji right there, just spinning and staying on the feet. I mean, practically a ballerina out there, able to work his way up the field for a first down.
First down 10 to go from the CMU 47. 3 wide receivers, Osborne the motion man. Dooley drops back, rolls to his right, eyes downfield, fakes, and then tosses it for Osborne inside the 30 to the near sideline. It's caught. Or now we get a second decision of incomplete. Incomplete at the 28-yard line. Almost a really nice bootleg for Dooley. Instead, it's second down and 10.
Well, that's what you still like to see. It was the smart decision to hold off on the pass. You had plenty of time, not really feeling the pressure there. You had a short option, but you didn't want to go there. Something opened up downfield. You threw it, had the space, just couldn't quite get the connection there.
Dooley now 10 of 15, 134 yards, 3 TDs. Ugorji, the running back in the game, 7 carries, 42 yards, 6 per carry. Ball on the far side hash at the CMU 47, second down and 10. Ravens up by 21, or 17, 24-7. Ugorji up the middle, follows his blockers, keeps his feet momentarily, and the pile trying to be pushed. CMU causes a stalemate at the 43-yard line.
Ugorji on the carry for the Ravens.
Third down and medium.
Big opportunity for the Central Methodist defense here.
8 of 5 on the play.
Then again, we've already seen the leg distance from Christian Klobe. Even if there is a stop right at the line, who knows if they might even decide to go for a field goal from here.
Ravens 2 of 4 on third down today. Third down, 5 to go from the CMU 42. Middle of the field, Dooley in the gun. Belt high snap, he looks left, fires it quick, incomplete. Looking for a 5-yard connection with Dover, who could not haul it in. It's dropped, and that's fourth down and 5.
Fourth down 5 for the Ravens.
5:42 to play in the first half. Ravens offense stays on the field. They convert a fourth down on their last drive in this area. Dooley in the gun, 3 wide receivers. Ugorji to his right. Hard count from Dooley. Checks to the Ravens sideline on the far side. Ugorji flips to the left of Dooley. Belt high snap. He fires it, incomplete. And that's a turnover on downs. Draped coverage by Malachi Edwards. Intended for Trey Herbert, and Edwards was with him step for step, and that was a 5-yard connection miss.
Big defensive stand for the Eagles. They needed something to get some momentum back. I mentioned that on the decision to punt earlier. They didn't need to go for it on fourth down because they were able to get the turnover on downs here, and great field positioning to be starting off with.
Great 20-yard run by Lomax on the last possession before they had to punt. First down and 10 in the 42. Guile unleashes this for Troost, incomplete past the 30-yard line. Across the field on the near side over his head, and the Ravens could not make a play on it. Let's check this flag on the play.
Offsides. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So Guile recognized it would be a free play.
Worth taking the shot on that play, and you had the opportunity with Troost, although it was double coverage. Seemed like he maybe took the wrong angle on the ball, a little bit underneath it when he leaped into the air. You don't see that mistake too often from Troost.
So ball spot at the CMU 47. Guile in the pistol, first down and 5. They'll tie snap, he gives it to Lomax, who runs straight into the scrum, and there's nowhere to go at the line of scrimmage. He's stopped.
Lomax on the carry.
Well played by the big tackle Jason Anderson, the nose guard. 6'3", 270.
No gain on the
Entered the
play.
day with 22 tackles, and he plugged up the middle. So that makes it second down and 5. The Eagles 0 of 5 on third down today, 46 yards through the air, 70 in total. Guile in the pistol, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end. And this handoff goes to Newby. It falls ahead to the 49. Instead, Lomax with the carry. That brings up a third down and 3 at the CMU 49, middle of the field.
Gain of 2 on the play.
2-yard gain.
Ball at the Eagle, 49.
Third and short here, the run game's been working. Don't be shocked if they go back to it.
Lomax entered the day averaging 4.5 yards per carry. He's behind Guile in the pistol. And he gets it, tosses it back on the reverse. And this is Slay to the far side. He has to cut against the grain again. Still way behind the line of scrimmage, and then is dragged down. He tried his best to improv and make something out of nothing, but it ends up back at the line of scrimmage somehow. And it's fourth down, and that brings Castillo out once again.
It's a great job by the Benedictine defense as a team to rally to the ball. They had to cross the field once and then a second time, and eventually were able to track him down. Seemed like he had daylight for a second.
Eagles now 0 of 6 on third down today. The 46, Castillo gets this away across midfield and inside the 20-yard line, takes an Eagles bounce inside the 10 and continues its roll inside the 5, down to the 3 on the far side hash. A beauty from Castillo. Another punt for him inside the 20 this year. And with 3:13 to play in the half, the Ravens on top 24-7. They take over at their own 3-yard line.
13th punt in the 20 this season. I think that's such an underrated part of the game, is pinning the opposing team back and forcing them to go work back deep in their own territory.
And a great play by the Eagles front, bringing down the ball carrier at the 1-yard line. It was Jackson who was quickly met and just stayed out of the end zone. So after the Eagles were just backed up at the 1-yard line, now the Ravens at the half-yard line on the far side hash. Dooley in his own end zone. Jackson, the running back, behind Dooley, who's under center in the ace formation. Make that the I form. And Jackson gets the handoff, and then he is quickly met, stuffed after a pickup of maybe 2. It was Higginbottom who was there in the hole. So now it's third down. Back to the original line of scrimmage. Third down, 10 to go from the 3-yard line of the Ravens. Dooley still in his own end zone. 2:12 to play in the first half. Let's see if they take it to the 2-minute timeout and make a decision on what to do from there. Play clock at 10. And we get to the 2-minute timeout with the Ravens on top 24-7, but backed up at their own 3-yard
That's the
line.
2-minute timeout. Please reset the game clock to 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
And we'll step aside for a short break on the Hart Conference Network. Back to action in Fayette. 2 minutes to play in the first half. Ravens on top of CMU 24-7 at a drenched Davis Field. Aaron Mosier, Austin Thomas with you. Ravens packed up at their own 3-yard line. 3rd down and 10 to go from the middle of the field. Guile in his own end zone. In the gun. Ready for play after the 2-minute timeout. Belt tie snap. Guile drops back, fires it over the middle, complete to the 10-yard line and more. Zimmerman bowls over the secondary for a first down and a nice completion to the 21-yard line. Zimmerman had the first touchdown of the day, a 42-yarder, and the Ravens hustle to the ball. Middle of the field, 21-yard line. First down with all 3 timeouts remaining for them. Dooley drops back, delivers it to the near sideline, incomplete. Past the 30-yard line, intended for a diving JoJo.
Intended for Lagos incomplete. 2nd down, 10 for the Ravens.
So 1:43 remaining. Clock stop in the first half. Middle of the field, 21-yard line of the Ravens. After a big completion to give them some breathing room. 18 yards to Zimmerman. Osborne motion across the formation from right to left. Dooley in the gun, belt tie snap, drops back, looks left, has time, rolls, and then fires it for interception! Intercepted past the 25-yard line. Edwards down the far sideline, inside the 10. An unbelievably rare mistake from Dooley. Threw it right to Edwards for his 2nd interception of the year.
First down, 10, CMU, ball at the Ravens, 13.
I am in shock, Austin.
I'm at a loss for words right now. That was a read that you see Dooley make 9 out of 10 times, but this was the 1 out of 10.
Ball at the 13-yard line of the Ravens. Far side hash. First down, and they run another reverse. And a pass potentially coming to Guile, and it's intercepted right back. Wow, what a dumb decision right back. They give it right back to the Ravens, out of bounds on the far side. It was another reverse pop play to Slade. And the Ravens jump on it and get the ball right back. Dylan Witherspoon steps in front down the far sideline for his 2nd interception of the year. And after the Eagles were set up at the 13-yard line, the trick play bites them in the butt.
Yeah, certainly a play that could have been avoided right there. You had the time, and it's a play that you'd run before a team's going to adjust to that. Obviously, Benedictine certainly adjusted. They were ready, having previously seen a similar look.
So now the ball at the far side hash again. This time the Ravens have it at the CMU 7-yard line. Ugorji takes the handoff off the left side with a ton of room, and with the burst across the 25 to the 30. Down the far sideline before he's tracked down at the 40, I think at the 39-yard line. Ugorji finds all the green grass he wants. He's finally tracked down. First down Ravens at the Benedictine 39. Far side hash, they hustle to the ball. A quick change on defense for CMU, and they're on their heels. Dooley, belt tie snap in the gun, steps up, and he takes it himself to the far sideline of the 35, make that the 45. Waltzes for a medium-sized pickup. 2nd down, 5 to go.
The Benedictine offense starting to go back to what was working for them coming out of that lightning delay and just moving the ball in rhythm, going up the field with the small chunk plays.
So clock stopped at 1:03. Ravens still have all 3 timeouts. Far side hash. Belt tie snap. Dooley fires to the left side, complete. No, Watson dropped it. On the far sideline across midfield. So that makes it 3rd down and 5.
3rd down, 5 for the Ravens from the 44.
Exactly 60 seconds remaining in the half.
Watson only 5 catches this season, a little bit inexperienced, showing that off on that play.
Ugorji still the running back, trips to the near side. Isolated receiver to the far side. In the gun, Dooley on 3rd down and 5 from the Ravens 44. He drops back, rolls to his right, pressured by the Eagles, and then delivers it incomplete to the near side, intended for Herbert, who wanted pass interference on Dante Lewis. No flags on the play, and that makes it what should be 4th down and 5 from the 44 of the Ravens.
Good coverage from
Right
Lewis.
of the pass. Holding. Defense number 20. It'll be a 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Derek Kelly Jr. picks up the holding, and so that gifts a free set of downs for the Ravens. Across midfield to the CMU 46. They still have all 3 timeouts in their pocket. First down, 10 to go from the far side hash. 54 seconds remaining in the half. Ravens on top, 24-7. Dooley takes it, bootleg right, and then gets rid of it. And is it intercepted on the near sideline? Did he get his feet in bounds? He did! What a play by Dante Lewis, denying Zimmerman of the ball. How did he get his feet in bounds after the interception?
I don't know, Aaron, but that's back-to-back great plays from Dante Lewis. The previous one wiped off the board because of the penalty, but he sticks with it, and he comes up with a huge play.
3 interceptions in succession, almost in a row. 3 straight drives ended with interceptions. 48 seconds remaining in the half, near side hash. Ball at the 41-yard line of CMU. They still have all 3 timeouts. Guile in the pistol, drops back, fires it over the middle, incomplete, sailed it for Thomas. And spotted up at the 45. 2nd down, 10 to go. Hard to keep up right now, Austin. All these mistakes, just another interception for Dooley, his 7th of the year.
Well, you're going to see this ball stick in the air with only 44 seconds to go.
Newby behind Guile, 4 wide, split evenly across the formation. 2nd down, 10 to go from the CMU 42. A check to the sideline from Guile. Near side hash, Eagles moving right to left. They'll tie snap. Guile with time, unloads it over the middle, down the seam, batted and incomplete. Almost intercepted off the deflection. Great coverage by Peyton Jobe inside the 25. And that makes it 3rd down and 10 as Jalen Joseph is denied.
And still seeing plenty of downfield throws from Guile today. That's been the focus of the offense, is taking that deep shot. It's only worked a couple of times today. Really, you remember that one big throw to Dakota Troost, but got to get more accurate on these throws.
39 seconds to play in the half. Ball in near side hash, in the pistol. Guile drops back from the 42, delivers it to the outside to Newby. On the right side, he races for the sideline, cuts it upfield. Close to midfield at the 48-yard line. So that makes it a 4th down and short. CMU has converted 50% of their 4th downs this year, but they send out Castillo. He just pinned Benedictine at the 3-yard line the last time he was on the field. That created all this chaos. 31 seconds to play in the half. The ball at the CMU 48. JoJo stands at the 10-yard line of the Ravens. And Castillo gets it away, end over end. JoJo lets it go, and it checks up at the 15, and that's where the Eagles collected at midfield. 23 seconds remaining in the half.
Another conservative play call there from head coach Dave Brown, and the Eagles right now trailing by 17. It does surprise me that they're not trying to take a couple more aggressive looks at the play, going for it on 4th down. They trust their punter, and understandably so. He's been great today. But at some point in time, Central Methodist's got to get some momentum going their way to be able to get drives down the field.
That's 2 straight turnovers from the Ravens that do not end with CMU points. Ball at the 16-yard line, middle of the field of the Ravens. Dooley hands it off to Ugorji off the left side with the burst to the outside to the 25 to the 30 and tracked down. And he stayed in bounds, so the clock runs unless they take a timeout. Clock should be running. They stopped it at 15. This should be rolling.
Kelly on the stop for the Eagles. First down, 10. Benedictine.
Really, they should adjust the clock. It will be of no consequence as the Ravens will be content to take this lead into the half, 24-7. This will be a condensed halftime break, just 3 minutes.
Eagles, 7.
And a lot of frustration for the Eagles with missed opportunities. We'll talk about that after a short break on the Hart Conference Network.
To the 45, cuts across midfield, up the right sideline, stumbles, breaks the tackle, he's to the 20, to the 10, he is taking it into the end zone for a touchdown. Still caught down the line, and it's in a line drive right down the line. Running catch by Jolly. Field 5 Henry turns, shoots, hits it from the corner, the fading three.
Welcome you back to Fayette and Davis Field, on the campus of Central Methodist. Condensed 3-minute timeout after the 3.5-hour weather delay. We kicked off at 1 o'clock approximately. It's now 5:28. Aaron Mosier, Austin Thomas with you on the Hart Conference Network. Wild end to this half, the end of the half, and you know, it's kind of started out the way that this game has progressed. Jackson Dooley running the Ravens down the field with almost no resistance, but then the turnovers piled up. 3 straight drives ended with the interception.
Yeah, I wonder a little bit if the conditions have anything to do with it, because coming out of the halftime locker room, the rain delay locker room, they started kind of going with the easy throws, with running the ball, working it down rhythmically. And that showed that they still had the momentum, but then they started to open it up a little more, go further down the field, 15, 20-yard throws, and it was on those where you really saw Dooley miss with his accuracy, and that led to some of the interceptions. Early in the game, he didn't really miss on those throws, and so I do wonder if now that the ball's a little bit more wet, the receivers don't quite have the same hands, how you're going to be seeing that slight adjustment that causes these picks, and if he's going to come out of halftime and change that approach anymore, if he's going to stick with it, because it does have Benedictine up 17.
Halftime stat update. Ravens 3 of 6 on 3rd down. CMU 0 of 7. Benedictine 303 total yards, 75 for CMU, 152 yards through the air for Dooley, who is now 11 of 23. I mean, we were talking about he was 10 of 15. Now 3 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Ugorji has reached 100 yards on the ground, 10 for 100. Jordan Guile now 7 of 14 through the air with 52 yards. The Eagles have punted it 7 times for 256 yards. Not a single punt yet for the Ravens, though they have turned it over 3 times, averaging almost 7 yards per carry. CMU under 2 yards per carry themselves. Interception for Malachi Edwards. Dante Lewis with the other interception, I believe. And so after the condensed halftime, we're back to action in Fayette. The rain came down for 3 hours. Lightning for a couple of hours. Made the decision to play on here today to try to finish this one up. CMU supposed to be homecoming today. They had to make some audibles on the festivities. 24-7 lead for the Ravens out of the halftime break. CMU kicks off from left to right. And this is taken on the far side by Hernandez. past the 30-yard line, down the far sideline to the 45-50 before he is tracked down by the kicker. Across midfield, Salgado has to tackle him. A great return by Hernandez all the way into CMU territory. Exactly what the Ravens wanted to do to start the half.
Yeah, I mean, that is exactly what they wanted to do. It really sets up your offense to the point where, hey, you really don't have to take shots at this point. Mentioned it coming out of halftime. They probably want to go more with the rhythmic plays.
Ball on the 46-yard line, far side hash. And the jet sweep goes outside to Osborne, who cuts it to the far near sideline, rather past the 40 to 30. And it stays in bounds down the sideline. Tiptoes and tight ropes inside the 5-yard line. And a massive pickup for Osborne, who almost took it 45 yards to the end zone. Perfect turn of the corner for him. All the way down to the 2-yard line, near side hash. Cortavious Waters on, the big fella at 325 pounds for CMU. And the Ravens on the verge of really opening this one up.
Timeout, Benedictine. This is their first charge timeout of the second half.
So the Ravens take a quick timeout. Want to make sure they're all on the same page. Time of possession has been almost equal, but they're points. CMU converted off the muff punt in the first quarter, which was 4 hours ago. It's the last time the Eagles have been on the board. 14 minutes to play, third quarter. Ravens looking to extend to a 17-point lead. Split veer look, and the handoff goes to Ugorgi, who sheds a tackle. Did he get in? No. He stood up right at the goal line, half-yard short. So second down, goal to go from the half-yard line.
The Central Methodist defensive line has done a really strong job today at standing tall right at the line of scrimmage. They've had a couple of stops right at the line and a couple behind as well. Mentioned it earlier, the secondary has to step up, but right here you're focused on that middle interior.
Split veer formation again, and just a quarterback sneak. Flag is out after the score by Dooley. So we'll see if this one stands. Almost looked like they ran Zimmerman behind him for a little tush-push. I don't even think Zimmerman got there in time. They had so much push up the middle for Dooley.
Offsides. Defense lined up in the neutral zone. Result of play, touchdown.
So the TD stands, and it's a 30-7 game. Ravens on top. Klobe on to attempt the extra point. He had the 54-yard career long earlier in this ball game. .17 to play in the third. And the kick is through. And the Ravens lead on the road 31-7.
I just got to say, one of the most impressive things, I've mentioned Klobe a couple times this game. He has not missed a PAT this season. Remains perfect in this one, 4 for 4 on PAT attempts. Also made that one field goal from 55, a season high earlier. The last time that he missed a kick, got to go all the way back to September 6th, the last time that Cloby missed.
Jalen Joseph, Zion Slade deep for the Eagles.
He tees it up,
Kick
kicking
off
right to left.
for Benedictine.
With Joseph and Slade back deep for the Eagles. He boots it away, end over end. And Slade takes this in his own end zone. Races to the far side. Makes one cut, makes one man miss, and races past the 35 to the 40. And the kicker, Cloby had to track him down at the 45-yard line. He saved 6.
I mean, talking about him for the kicks, but Cloby coming up with a clutch tackle right there. I mean, that was full extension, able to bring down Slade. He had a full head of steam as well.
Ball at the Eagle, 45.
So that brings out the CMU offense at the 45-yard line of their own. Lomax, the running back, behind Guile. Owens, the tight end, to the right of the offensive line. And 3 wide receivers in the formation. 4 down linemen for the Ravens. His handoff goes to Lomax, and he sheds a tackler, cuts against the grain for a moment, and then is swarmed for a loss. Witherspoon in there for the stop, along with Zachary Lacombe.
Come on, Lomax on the carry.
And that's a loss
Zach
of
Lacombe.
1.
Dylan Witherspoon
Second down and
on the
11
stop.
to go.
For
It's
Benedictine,
a loss of 1, but could have been a lot more if he hadn't broken out of that tackle on the left side of the field.
Well-timed snap goes to Lomax off the left side, and he stood up and stonewalled at the original line of scrimmage. 1 yard on the pickup, and it's 3rd down and 10.
Run game not quite as effective here as it was earlier. Benedictine, again, making adjustments, getting to the spots where they want to and getting through that offensive line. Central Methodist might need to make some changes and let this ball fly.
Under 12 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Ball on the far side hash. 3rd down and 10 from the Eagles 45. Low snap. Guile handles it, rolls to his right, looks downfield, and has to take the loss. Sack from behind. Great pursuit.
Number 45.
Thank you, sir. Blake
Castile.
Castile.
Blake Castile on the stop for the Ravens. Loss of 2 on the play.
Loss of a couple. 4th down and 12 for the Eagles.
Eagle, 43.
Castile's first sack of the season for Benedictine. A guy who's got a bunch of TFLs this year, but yet to take down the QB.
You think they're thrilled about his sack?
I would say so.
JoJo signals fair catch at the 17-yard line.
Castillo's punt. Fair caught. Joseph Lagapriana.
11:04 to play in the 3rd quarter. What a long ball game. We still have a ways to go.
Hey, the fans still have the energy, to say the least. And that's something that can be so tough, not just for the fans, but for the players themselves. I mean, you're focused and you're locked in for this game, and then you have it broken up by that rain delay for 3.5 hours. Expected to maintain that focus when you come back out.
Low snap, Dooley handles it. Play action, has time to throw. It's a lapsing, and he gets it away, but incomplete. Intended for his running back, Jackson, out of the backfield. On the far side, falls for an incompletion at the 20-yard line.
Jackson, incomplete. Second down.
2nd down, 10 to go from the 18-yard line.
From the 18.
Andrew Laws hurrying the QB on that one. Didn't know if Dooley saw him for a bit.
Dooley in the gun. Checks at his line. Goes to Jackson, bounces, and then runs directly into the left tackle. Well played by Harrell. It continues to be the X factor on defense for CMU. Jackson is still down. So we'll step aside while they look at him.
Welcome to the Heart of America Athletic Conference, where innovation meets tradition. Here, growth is not just measured in victories, but in the development of character and sportsmanship. Our student athletes compete at a championship level, pushing their limits every day. The Heart is committed to an uncommon student athlete experience that features some of the premier athletic programs in the NAIA. Our commitment to excellence goes beyond athletics, establishing a community of support and mentorship. But what truly sets us apart is the heart with which we play. Join us and experience the passion, the drive, and the spirit of champions. That passion and commitment extends off the playing field and into graduation. The Heart of America Athletic Conference, champions in competition, leaders in life.
To the 45, cuts across midfield, up the right sideline, stumbles, breaks the tackle, he's to the 20, to the 10. He is taking it into the end zone for a touchdown. Still caught.
So Jackson able to get up on his own feet and walk off to the sideline. Good to see. They gave him 1 yard in the pickups. 3rd down and 9. Well, no, they gave him no gain on the play. 3rd down and 10 from the Ravens' 18-yard line, near side hash. They move 3 wide receivers to the far side with trips and a bunch. And Dooley drops back, rifles it, incomplete, too quick for Herbert, who was coming out of the break. Falls incomplete on the near sideline, and the first time we see the punt unit for the Ravens. They haven't had to punt a whole lot this year. Just 12 punts thus far for Scotty Robertson, the sophomore from Park Hill. A disciple of Andy Sims, who has done a phenomenal job with that program. 10:25 remaining in the 3rd quarter. And this punt gets away, a long end-over-end kick that takes a big Ravens bounce and fielded over his shoulder, I believe by Joseph, who runs over the near sideline past the 30-yard line. Beautiful punt by Robertson, flips the field. And CMU takes over at the 31.
Yeah, difficult to get that one away, but a relatively good return from Joseph as well, considering where he picked it up. Able to bring it back and avoid the defenders coming his way. Could be a lot worse field positioning.
So ball on the near side hash. Eagles down 31-7, 24-point deficit. As they motion Slade across the formation. Lomax on the stretch play, bounces outside. Great pursuit. And no gain on the play. Trey Rucker exploded into the backfield and forced the misdirection.
For Benedictine. Gain of 1 on the play, 2nd down 9 from the 32.
Unless that was Witherspoon or Lopez. Second down, 9 to go. Guile steps up, tucks it, runs it up the middle with plenty of room and slides down. Gives himself up right at the line to gain. They
Jordan Guile on the carry for
mark him
CMU.
down. If he's short, it's by inches at the 41.
41.
And they go ahead and move the chains. And I think that's a generous spot. where he's spotted supposed to be, where he gives himself up. That was right at the 40-yard line. So first down and 10 for the Eagles. Lomax on the stretch play outside. Sprints and races, and then is slammed down past the 45 to the 47.
Another good run there. You're starting to see it return to its efficiency that it had earlier in the game.
Second down and 3. Kyle gives it back to Lomax, who is upended in the backfield. Well played by Joseph Abrams.
Lomax, Sean McCary, Peyton Job, Dylan Bennett on the stop.
Instead, Peyton Job and Bennett were there on the stop. So third down, upcoming after the loss.
It was Job that kind of raced him down in the first place there, and you're seeing his presence felt by CMU.
Third down, Guile unloads it for Truce, and it's caught. And he races up the field past the 40 all the way to the 36-yard line into Ravens territory.
Not only was that a good catch by Truce, but the cutback got him a few extra yards to go to the outside and work it up for even more.
He's had a good day. Right spot for the Eagles. Second reception, but they've both been explosive plays. First down and 10, and Lomax takes it off the left side and then is right into the scrum for maybe a yard on the pickup.
Lomax on the carry.
The Ravens do such a good job in run defense, just standing up the opposing offensive line. They're allowing just 25 opponent points a game.
Second down 10.
Second down and 10. Guile pulls it on the play action and then delivers it incomplete off the hands of Joseph. You know, 25 opponent points a game is a good number for a defense that is constantly on the field, and that's kind of the challenge when you have such an explosive offense.
Third down 10.
They still average a margin of 22 points per victory.
It's kind of a double-edged sword there. The better your offense is, the quicker you score, and then the more your defense is on the field.
Third down and 10. Slade the motion man, Guile looks his direction, but the ball fell short. It's incomplete.
Giles pass intended for Zion Slade.
CMU
Incomplete.
keeps the offense on the field.
Fourth down 10. CMU. All at the Benedictine. 36.
This would be a 52-yarder, which seems to be stretching the range a little bit for Salgado and not wanting to go for that. So this really the first aggressive move that you see from Central Methodist today.
He hit from 49 last year at North American, but CMU down by 24 at this point in the game. Fourth down and 10. Thomas right to left in the formation. Guile with time rifles it over the middle. Incomplete. Turnover on downs as Truce was the intended target. And the Ravens retake the field.
Incomplete.
Had a shot downfield, seemed like Truce was there, but just couldn't quite haul it in. Not sure if it was a little too far for him to stretch out his hands, but right place, just couldn't quite execute.
So first down, 10 to go for Dooley in the offense, who has scored in every quarter today. Back to the line, and then he just has to dirt this one after the pressure got in his face by Caleb Justice. Second down and 10.
Intended for Watson.
Yeah, and Tyler Watson, lucky that he was there as an eligible receiver to keep it from being intentional grounding. But that's good state of mind from Jackson Dooley to recognize that he's got a receiver that he can throw it in the ground to so close by.
Ugorji sheds a tackler, keeps the feet churning, and bursts for a great pickup. Great contact balance all the way for what looks like a first down to the 46.
It seemed like Caleb Justice had him wrapped up in the backfield, but then he just burst out of his hands. Couldn't quite finish that tackle.
Ugorji up to 111 yards on the day. Jackson still on the sideline, the backup running back. I've not seen him return to the game. Osborne, the motion man. Dooley with time, rifles it over the middle, complete, and Zimmerman is upended, not before he's all the way inside the 35 into Eagles territory. That has been a dangerous connection today for the Ravens.
Zimmerman just his third catch of the day, but all of those catches have been going for big distance.
Dooley checks out, and that brings back in Ugorji for a wildcat look. Watson, the H-back on the left side of the line. With 3 wide, make that 4 wide. Hernandez gets a fake. Instead, Ugorji keeps it, and he races to the far side. And he is inside the 5-yard line. And the Ravens on the doorstep again.
That's offensive line blocking right there. A masterclass in run blocking. And again, those all-conference members, not just the all-conference members, the entire offensive line really stepping up and creating plenty of space for Ugorji to run through.
So ball down to the 4-yard line. Dooley back on the field in the gun. He gives it to Hernandez, who squeezes through the crease and finds the end zone for a touchdown. And the Ravens on top by 30. No malaise after the 3.5-hour delay for the Ravens. CMU can't take advantage of the couple of mistakes that they made in the second quarter. And it's all Benedictine at this point, the number 3 team in the nation, cruising for their 6th win of the year. Klobe stays perfect on the day. 14 points for the Ravens in this third quarter. And another different Raven with a touchdown. That is 5 different Ravens with either a rushing touchdown or a receiving touchdown. They are so difficult to defend because of that balance. They had one of the best receivers in the nation the last few years, graduated, moved on. An All-American, first team All-American last year, and he was the main target. This year it's been more by committee, and we've seen how dangerous that can be.
Yeah, well, I mean, he wasn't just an All-American last year. He was a unanimous All-American last year. Got every single vote to make that team. That tells you how dominant he was.
No problem for Dooley and the Ravens this year. On their way for their 5th straight win over CMU. And Oren taken by Slade inside the 5. With speed, he bursts to the outside of the near sideline and out of bounds before he crosses the 25.
Sound Slade on return for CMU.
So 4:44 to play in the third. First down for the Eagles. They do give him the 25-yard line, near side hash. So Dakota Truce, 2 receptions, 58 yards. DeJuan Lomax, though, just 25 yards and 11 carries. And Jordan Giles just 8 of 18 on the day. The Ravens defense has stepped up and come to play today. eliminating a couple of mistakes by the offense. Guile on the rollout. Gets rid of this. The Ravens sideline.
Good Guile pass incomplete. Second down 10. CMU from the 25.
I like that CMU was trying to throw the ball on that play. Switching it up a little bit, but you got to mix in the run with the pass. Don't get too attached to one or the other.
Second down. Play action. Guile able to squeeze through the crease and then is planted at the 29-yard line. So third down and 6 coming.
Jordan Guile on the carry for CMU. Left home.
We've seen great pocket presence really throughout the day from Jordan Guile, while the offensive line has given him a fair bit of time most plays. Whenever they eventually give way, Guile's been aware.
Just one third down conversion on the day for the Eagles. Guile steps up and then slides. 2 yards short of the line to gain. So the Eagles now 1 of 11 on third down. And potentially a last hurrah for the offense at this point. Down by 31. 3:28 to play in the third quarter. Fourth down and 2. Newby, the running back. 2 tight ends in the game to the right side of the line. And the give is to Newby, who hesitates, sheds a tackle, churns and falls forward for the first down. Those were some of the most difficult 3 yards of his life.
I mean, that's navigating traffic at its finest right there. Jamar Newby continuing to look impressive out there, even though his overall numbers haven't really shined today. When he has gotten the ball, those yards have come a lot more difficult than it might seem.
Newby from Youngstown, Ohio. Takes the handoff off the right side, bursts through the crease, and look at him past the 50, the 45 to the 40, down the near sideline. But there is a flag out back at the 47.
On the carry for CMU, penalty flag on the play.
Regardless if the play stands or not, great to see Newby find a seam.
Yeah, and it was an explosive play. You like to see that.
Holding. Offense number 12. 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
So Taj Wright may have been the guilty party there in trying to spring that open for Newby. He's the near side receiver.
After the penalty, first down and 9 for the Eagles.
First down, 9 to go after the spot foul. Newby still the running back. And the pistol, he's got it up the middle, chugs ahead, falls forward, good pickup. Right to the line to gain, and that's a first down. Move the chains, 9-yard pickup for Newby.
Another good run from him right there.
Oh, and there is a Raven down. And we'll step aside for another injury timeout.
He's to the 45, cuts across midfield, up the right sideline, stumbles, breaks the tackle, he's to the 20, to the 10. He is taking it into the end zone for a touchdown. Still caught down the line, and it's in a line drive right down the line. Running catch by Jolly. Here's finds Henry, turns, shoots, hits it from the corner. The fading three. Welcome to the Heart of America Athletic Conference, where innovation meets tradition. Here, growth is not just measured in victories, but in the development of character and sportsmanship. Our student athletes compete at a championship level, pushing their limits every day. The Heart is committed to an uncommon student athlete experience that features some of the premier athletes.
So Cole Johnson has to be helped off to the sideline. Hate to see that. .62 junior from Trinity Catholic from the state of Kentucky.
First down 10, Central
It's about the
Methodist,
worst thing that could happen at this point in the game right now.
So first down and 10 for the Eagles after the 9-yard pickup for Jamar Newby. He's still behind Guile. And he takes it on the outside sweep, races down the near sideline with the burst.
Jamar Newby on the carry for CMU.
Past midfield to the 48.
That's 3 straight runs that have gone for 5 or more, one of them being called back, of course, due to the holding, but the holding wasn't counted up until he had already gotten 11 yards. So effectively, he's had 5+ yards on 3 straight carries. I like to see the way that he's been running.
Second down. Newby sheds one tackler behind the line of scrimmage and then is churning the feet across the 45.
Newby on the carry.
Let's see if he gives the first down to Newby. Maybe a half-yard short. Third down and inches to go.
Doing that without one of the offensive linemen in front of him. Rance Ledette had to kind of back up. His helmet had come off on the play, and he couldn't any longer stay active in it. So a lot of push from the running back.
Third down and inches. Guile still in the pistol. Chest high snap. And Newby races to the right side. Let's see if they give him forward progress.
Lomax on the carry.
Said it was Lomax, and he was stood up by Lacombe. And they do not give him forward progress. So now it's 4th down and 1. 4th down and inches. I mean, the nose of the football is almost at the 44. Sorry, for the 45-yard line is where the ball sits right now. Inches to go. Lomax in behind Guile. With the play clock elapsing. And the end of the quarter. Benedictine wins this third quarter 14-0, and they lead CMU 38-7. We'll step aside on the Heart Conference Network. It's all right, I'll just take the end of this drive.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Welcome to the Heart of America Athletic Conference, where innovation meets tradition. Here, growth is not just measured in victories, but in the development of character and sportsmanship. Our student athletes compete at a championship level, pushing their limits every day. The Heart is committed to an uncommon student athlete experience that features some of the premier athletic programs in the NAIA. Our commitment to excellence goes beyond athletics, establishing a community of support and mentorship. But what truly sets us apart is the heart with which we play. Join us and experience the passion, the drive, and the spirit of champions.
Fourth down and inches upcoming for CMU and Benedictine territory at the 45-yard line. The line to gain is the 44, and the nose of the football is almost there.
As play resumes, 4th down.
I mean, a flash card is between the nose of the football and the 44. Guile in the pistol as we begin play in the 4th. Lomax behind him in the pistol. And, oh boy. The absolute worst mistake you can make at that point. Literally inches from a first down false start for CMU. It moves them back.
Yeah, Elijah Jar on that play just jumped.
False start. Offense number 46. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
Penalties coming back to bite CMU again. It's been a bit of a common thread throughout the afternoon and into the evening.
So instead of 4th down in inches, it's 4th down and 5. 3 wide receivers in the formation. And more procedural penalties. And after the Eagles.
False start. Offense number 71.
After the Eagles were
5-yard penalty.
a breath away.
Remains 4th down.
I mean, a whisper away from converting the 4th down to back-breaking false start penalties. Move them back across midfield into their own territory, and Castillo is out again. And he gets it away. JoJo fair catches this one at the 15-yard line. 14:55 to play. Benedictine on top, 38-7.
And the way that this Ravens offense has been moving down the field, you just feel right now that they're going to come back out and they're going to keep it moving along. Central Methodist going to have to step up into the new role here as Jackson Dooley gets back out to work. He's got Ugorji as his running back behind him, 2 receivers on the right. Extra men on the offensive line. Dooley takes the snap, hands it off to Ugorji. Patiently waiting, breaking through for a couple of yards. Gets it up to about the 23-yard line before he's tackled. Gain of 7. And has a 2nd and 2 coming up for Benedictine.
I'm surprised to still see most of the first-team offense out there for the Ravens up by this much. We just saw Cole Johnson have to leave the game, their starter on defense, after a 3.5-hour weather delay.
J.J. Jackson as well earlier, as Ugorji now takes it up the right side. Sorry, that's Hernandez, and plenty of room for him as he's able to get another explosive run for this Benedictine offense past the 40 to the 41-yard line. Marked down for a first for the Ravens.
Balance continues for this Ravens offense. I think they are very content to use this dominant rushing attack to salt away this game.
And they have gone a little bit to the reserves. Zamar Hernandez being used as the 3rd string running back today. Robbie Sharp maybe will get some playing time as well. Handoff to Hernandez, left side run, gets to the edge and a little bit more. Stiff arms his way for an extra 4 yards all the way up to the Central Methodist 46-yard line. Another big game for Zamar Hernandez, who didn't see his first carry of the game until late in the 3rd quarter. Of course, that was the touchdown that he had, a 4-yard run. Since that point, getting more and more into the game, and another guy who I just mentioned, Robbie Sharp, seeing his way onto the field next to Dooley in the backfield. Pre-snap motion to the right side. Dooley hands it off. Now up the middle. Sharp's got some space and more to the 20, to the 10. Sharp into the end zone. Another touchdown for Benedictine. And another running back credited with the touchdown. So both of the reserve backs getting on the scoreboard with 6 points. 44-17 Benedictine.
Yeah, it's very impressive to have 6 different players score a touchdown in a game for this offense. It just shows you how dynamic and deep this team is. There's a reason why they have been so good under Joel Osborne. He has done an excellent job recruiting for this program.
Cloby now set for the PAT hold from Dooley, brings it in and set up. It's through 45-7 Benedictine, and you're right. I mean, the depth on this team, it's really second to none. Obviously a couple of those teams up there, but throughout a season, you're going to experience some fatigue, some injuries as well. We saw one, maybe two, that are going to have lasting impact on this Benedictine team, but it's a matter of coming back from that to be able to stay up at the top.
And the full demonstration of depth is the fact that there's multiple guys, I think, on this Ravens bench. They haven't even touched the field yet today that would have the opportunity to do so for CMU. You look at two tight ends, just for example, on the back end of the depth chart, David Wilburn and Zoe Olalade. 6'4", each of them, 215, 220. Just big dudes. They haven't even touched the field yet. I mean, this is a big Ravens team. There's a reason why they are so dominant and the number 3 team in the nation. And there was just no malaise. Still mental focus after the 3.5-hour weather delay. You wouldn't even think that they're on the road today with a crowd that has filed out after having to sit around for so long. They have had all the energy in the second half.
They certainly have, and now Cloby on the kickoff. Sends this one to the back. Joseph grabs it, brings it up the right side, and he slips just across the 20. That didn't look comfortable at all. Wet grass out there and makes those pivot moves a little bit more difficult. Joseph had some space ahead of him, tried to cut it inside, just couldn't quite get his feet set. So Central Methodist sets up with the ball now at the 23-yard line. They've got 77 yards to go down the field.
First down 10, CMU, ball at the Eagle, 23.
First and 10 with 12:53 to go in the game. 45-7, the lead for the Ravens. Snap to Guile. He'll look to unleash this one down the right sideline. A lot of contact, no flag drawn. Had his man on a one-on-one, but it was great coverage in defense. Able to lock him down. Really no opportunity, no space.
Dakota Troost, incomplete, second down.
Dakota Troost was the one on the route, and, well, hyper-targeted today, it feels like. Anytime there's a deep route, it feels like Dakota Troost is the intended target. Guile, again with a man behind him, hands it off left side. Newby trying to cut his way up the field, gets past the 25, close to the 30. Not a bad gain from RB2, maybe making a claim for RB1 with his performance today, but it still is third down.
And now most of the 2s and 3s are in for the Ravens, but you go back to the end of that third quarter, CMU was able to establish the run, and that was against this Ravens starting front 7. So positives to take out of that end to the quarter.
Jamar Newby certainly at least giving himself some playing time in future weeks. Snap to Guile. Looking downfield, he unleashes, it's popped in the air, diving! Did he make that catch? Waiting for the call from the officials. Trying to signal a catch here. It's right at the 50-yard line, and they give it to him.
Antonio Turner, the redshirt freshman with all the concentration in the world to collect that off the deflection, a diving effort, an amazing play at this point in the game.
I mean, to be able to have that concentration, very impressive. Guile takes the snap, hands it off. Newby trying to push his way through, stuffed, maybe gets a yard on the play. They'll mark him down in Benedictine territory at the 49. It's 2nd and 9 coming up for Central Methodist. They try and work down the field, and you mentioned it kind of going to the backups. But those backups aren't playing like backups right now. Still making some plays out there, and all these guys still fighting. Maybe not necessarily for a win, but for future positioning and to get those reps in to see more success down the road. Snap to Guile. He'll roll out to the left side. Has a couple of men downfield, but decides to take it himself and get a couple of yards. Guile a gain of 3. Brings up 3rd and 7 for the Eagles.
Marked down at the 47-yard line of the Ravens. Third down.
Ball at the 47, 10:41 to go here in the fourth quarter. Still definitely a few fans out here, and Central Methodist hoping to give those who stuck around something to cheer for. Pre-snap motion on the left side. Guile has it. Has pressure, throws to the left, but it's batted down. Intended for the tight end, Elijah Owens, but great coverage from Sakori Thomas. That's that one, and brings up 4th and 7. CMU preparing to punt this one.
Their secondary has done a great job. It's been a lot of plays where the CMU offensive line has given Guile to throw. He just hasn't had anybody to get the ball to.
Punt coming up, and it's relatively deep. Fair catch signaled for, caught at about the 8-yard line. That is a phenomenal punt yet again from Jonathan Castillo. Came up huge with a punt all the way down to the 3-yard line earlier in the game. Now comes up with a second punt inside the 10. So 1st and 10 coming up for Benedictine. They'll set up with the ball at the 8-yard line. Still a 38-point gap between these two teams, and it's crazy to think that these two squads were tied 7-7 earlier in the afternoon. Handoff left side, and Price spins, but can't quite stay up. Sorry, Sharp.
And now they have Mark Harris, the sophomore, backup quarterback into the game. Also a Kansas native, 2 of 3 through the air, 16 yards so far this year. So Dooley's day is done, and you know, he had his good moments, the normal moments that we expect to see from him, but at the end of the day, CMU defensively held him to 12 of 27 through the air, 175 yards and 2 interceptions. I mean, that is well below his normal production.
I mean, it certainly is. More than anything, it seemed like there were just a couple of mistakes mentally from Dooley during his performance tonight. Of course, Central Methodist did have a couple of really strong performances from the secondary. Saw a couple of key times where they stepped up on 3rd down, even 4th down. Now 3rd and 8 coming up for the backups. Harris pressured and hit, but he gets the throw off on the left side, and plenty of room for Robbie Sharp. He gets the 1st down and moves the chains for Benedictine.
How about the backup quarterback, standing tall, taking the hit, delivering a good ball. What's been surprising today, how it's been such a flip of what we expected. This is a explosive passing offense, but it's been about the run game today for the Ravens. 175 yards in the air, 325 on the ground. Over 9 yards per carry. They have just had their way with the CMU front.
Handoff now to another running back as he rushes this one up the left side. Gets a couple of yards on the carry there. It's Derek Overstreet, 5'8" senior from Owasso, Oklahoma. Worth noting, Mark Harris with that 15-yard completion that he had. It's now his most passing yards in a game this season. Previously, it was just 12 that he'd had. He'd appeared in each of the last 4 games, although hasn't done too much when he's gotten onto the field. Now going to have plenty of run. Gets the handoff. Overstreet, plenty of space up the middle. A gain of over 20 yards on the ground. Just shy of the 50-yard line, marked at the 48. Still in Benedictine territory, but Derek Overstreet now getting up on the board. Another running back who gets the ball. It's the 7th different ball carrier of the game for Benedictine, who continues to move further and further down the depth chart.
They've had 9 different receivers with the reception as well. There's a reason why, if you look at their statistical profile, a lot of different guys have touched the ball and a lot of different guys have made tackles on defense. It's because they have been a part of a lot of blowouts this year.
Carter Salzman in motion. Isaiah Holly also on the outside. Now a run up the middle from Overstreet. He gets across the 50, but not much further. Stopped at the 49 in Central Methodist territory. A gain of 3. It's 2nd and 7.
Tony Galima, Kirion Harrell Jr. on the stop.
And these are key reps for what appears to be the future of this Benedictine team, as they have continued to dominate, not just this season, but in previous seasons as well, and hoping to keep the dynasty running. Hand off to Sharp, who's got space. He's looking for another one up the left side. He's across the 30 to the 20. He's got space, but finally taken down at the 15. Another big run. They'll mark him a couple yards ahead of the 15. Just shy of the 10-yard line, and with that, whistles blow as a timeout will be called on the field for an injury on the far sideline. An Eagle is down in some pain. With that, we'll step aside here. It's Eagles football on the Hart Conference.
Welcome to the Heart of America Athletic Conference, where innovation meets tradition. Here, growth is not just measured in victories, but in the development of character and sportsmanship. Our student athletes compete at a championship level, pushing their limits every day. The Heart is committed to an uncommon student athlete experience that features some of the premier athletic programs in the NAIA. Our commitment to excellence goes beyond athletics, establishing a community of support and mentorship. But what truly sets us apart is the heart with which we play. Join us and experience the passion, the drive, and the spirit of champions. That passion and commitment extends off the playing field and into graduation. The Heart of America Athletic Conference, champions in competition, leaders in life.
To the 45, cuts across midfield, up the right sideline, stumbles, breaks the tackle, he's to the 20, to the 10, he is
And back with Eagles versus Ravens football here on the Hart Conference Network. Austin Thomas, and joined alongside Aaron as well. Glad to have you here with me. And Eagles coming back from an injury, still taking some time to get him off of the field, and the Eagles, this has been a rough day for them. 3.5-hour rain delay. Also down on the scoreboard by 38, and now getting roughed up by injuries. Things just not going Central Methodist's way today. Benedictine pushing down the field, just had a big run from Robbie Sharp prior to the injury timeout. 45-7, it's 1st and 10 as the rain starts to come back down here lightly. Ball placed at the 12-yard line. It's a throw to the right side and plenty of contact, but miscommunication on the play as that one was intended downfield for Carter Salzman. Salzman, sophomore wide receiver from Platte City, Missouri. 5'10", 160-pound receiver. He's back on the outside here, along with Isaiah Holly in the slot. True freshman for the Ravens. Robbie Sharp in the backfield alongside Mark Harris. Pre-snap motion again, Salzman. Instead, it's the handoff to Sharp. Sharp up the middle. He's got space, and he's got the touchdown. A second touchdown of the game, and it's Robbie Sharp who runs it in from 12 yards out. His second touchdown. It's the first time a player today has multiple touchdowns. Benedictine, their 7th 6-point play of the game. Now PAT coming up for Christian Kloby. (51-7). Snap a little low, but hold is good from Ashton Dooley, or sorry, Jackson Dooley.
Is good. Number 6:15, fourth quarter. Ravens
PAT through 52-7.
That has to be very frustrating for head coach Dave Brown, defensive coordinator E.J. Valentine, because those are the 2s and 3s in for Benedictine on that drive. You still have your 1s in, and that's the risk you take in a blowout game like this, keeping your 1s in. You guys, at some point, you're trying to build some confidence in them. But on the flip side, you get scored on by the 2s and 3s, and you also have just lost Malachi Livingston to what appears to be a pretty serious injury. So that is certainly the risk you take, and it kind of burned them there.
45-point gap in this one, and well, we talked about it. The backups certainly aren't a weakness for this Benedictine team, but it does not help out the confidence for Central Methodist. Kickoff up and away. Picked up on the right side, and not a bad run. Gets it just across the 25. Big hit at the end of the play, and Central Methodist will set up with just under 70 yards to push down the field if they want to score again.
And Livingston would be a huge loss for this team. The interception and 10 pass breakups. That's the most on the team. A guy that has been really solid in coverage this year. So hopefully he is able to return to the field this season.
I mean, 10 pass breakups through 6 games, certainly something. Not easy to do. Snap to Guile. Play action. Guile lets go, has a man downfield, but not for long. Went in and out of the hands of Elijah Jarr, although a little bit of help in the secondary from Josh Boone, who came over.
Josh Boone,
freshman safety.
Second down 10.
Sorry, sophomore safety.
I think that was all about his recovery on the play. Impressive. Initially got beat. It was a pretty good ball by Guile, but just a better effort by Boone to break that up.
Hung in the air a little bit too
Illegal
long.
man downfield. Offense number 66. That penalty's declined. Result of the play, second down.
Regardless, even if that play was complete, would have been called back for illegal man downfield. And Central Methodist still struggling with the penalties. On the day, 5 penalties for 41 yards against Central Methodist. On the other side, Benedictine, just 1 penalty for 5 yards. They have played disciplined football today. Motion to the left side. Guile looking to unleash this one again downfield. Can't quite be completed as it drops just past the outstretched hands of his intended receiver, Antonio Turner. Turner brought in the one previously downfield on a tip drill pass. Couldn't bring this one in, however.
Third down 10, CMU from the 26.
Now 3rd and 10 from the 26 for Central Methodist. Still with Guile in at quarterback. And Guile himself only a sophomore, so he's still got some experience to gain, but he's really hoping for a better year than this so far as he sends one down the field, and it's off of his receiver's chest and pops right back up in the air, only to drop back down incomplete. Intended for Dakota Troost on that play, and Troost again getting the target, but just couldn't haul that one in. And as the rain comes back down, as it was earlier, The field and the ball getting a little more wet, making it more difficult to catch, and the punter, Castillo, coming back out here. Kickoff up and away, and it's a fair catch called for by JoJo, just past the 35 up to the 37. And 1st and 10 for Benedictine with 5:46 to go in a 45-point game. Central Methodist still held scoreless since the first quarter. They scored with just under 10 minutes to go remaining in the first. Haven't scored since. Haven't scored since that 3.5-hour delay as well. Had to go all the way back to about 1:30 p.m. today when Central Methodist put up their 7. It was 5 hours ago now. Pre-snap motion here for the Ravens. Handoff again. Plenty of space on the right side. Turning this one up the field. Who's going to catch him? And eventually tackled at the end of the play. And yet another running back getting involved for them. It's Caleb Leaphart. Leaphart, the 5'9" senior running back from Katy, Texas. Make that the 8th player to get a carry for Benedictine. Derek Overstreet in the backfield along with him and taken down on the left side. Finally, Central Methodist stepping up with a big stop.
Andrew Laws on the stop.
Andrew Laws makes the play. Clock ticking down under 5 minutes. 2nd and 15.
Ball at the 36.
Mark Harris still in at QB for the Ravens. Interested to see if he'll get another attempt to throw the ball. Just 2 attempts on the game so far. 1 for 2 through the air for him. Motion on the left side, and now the handoff again. Leaphart gets it past the original line of scrimmage, just shy of the 25, call it the 27. Brings up 3rd down and manageable. 3rd and 6 coming up for Benedictine.
Question is, who else can they hand the ball off to? They're going to start doing that, hand the ball off to 4th string offensive linemen just to see how far they can go.
Well, let's pull up the list of running backs. This is some of the most reps that the backups have seen, and once again going to hand it off to Leaphart, left side. He gets the 1st down and more. Past the 20, just shy of the 15, and clock stops as he goes out of bounds with 3:35 to play.
Casey Clark on the carry. Dylan Moore the stop.
1st and 10 from that 27-yard line. Mark Harris, no passing touchdowns on the season for him. Of course, he's only thrown a couple of passes this year. He'll hand it off to the left side, and this time Leaphart wrapped up right around the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard behind it. It'll bring up 2nd and long.
On the carry for the Ravens.
So ball now at the 19-yard line. Getting closer and closer to the 2-minute timeout. Mark Harris hands it off to Leaphart, who's got some space up the middle. He breaks 1, he breaks 2, tries to break a 3rd, can't quite get through that, but has it within the 10, nearing the 5-yard line. a big gain this close to the end zone, and a man is down for Benedictine.
That's the 2-minute timeout. 2-minute timeout.
And with the 2-minute timeout here, we will step aside and hopefully clear up this injury as well. When we return, it's Eagles football on the Hart Conference Network.
To the 45, cuts across midfield, up the right sideline, stumbles, breaks the tackle, he's to the 20, to the 10. He is taking it into the end zone for a touchdown. Still caught down the line, and it's in a line drive right down the line. Running catch by Jolly. He'll find Henry, turns, shoots, hits it from the corner, the fading three.
Welcome back from the 2-minute timeout. Austin Thomas, Aaron Moser here from Fayette, Missouri, as Central Methodist plays host to Benedictine in football. And number 3 Benedictine showing why they're ranked so highly today, up 52-7. An injury to what appears to be Leapart, who was the running back who was pushing it down the field. Caleb Leapart, the 8th player to touch the ball on a carry. He'll step off to the sideline very slowly, and now 52-7, and a first and goal from the 6. And the kneel will come out for Benedictine, and with that, the clock will run.
Mark Harris takes the knee.
Mark Harris taking the knee, and victory formation for the Ravens. Now looks like it'll do it for tonight's game. The sun has set here, the rain coming down, and with the way that this one started, 3.5-hour delay, but this game able to get finished up. 52-7. Seems like it will be the final score as we get down to the final minute and a half of action. And Aaron, this game, it was never in favor of the Eagles. And to a lot of people, this might have been the expectation of tonight's game. What can you really take away from tonight so far?
I think you can take away the few positives you had. You used the trick plays successfully for that flea flicker that was able to find Truce for a great pickup. You score on that drive, made it competitive at that point. I think your defense in spurts played well, especially against an electric pass offense. But at the end of the day, the Ravens didn't have to rely on that with the way that they ran the ball. The interceptions were very impressive. Malachi Edwards made some big plays, some splash plays overall, but the number 3 team in the nation, rolled in here and did their job, even though there was, left to be some question about how they would come out of a 3.5-hour weather delay. Not real surprising that a senior quarterback, Jackson Dooley, and this experienced group was able to handle it just fine, and they continue on with their winning ways and a very manageable schedule in the next 2 weeks, while CMU will have to face Baker next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough schedule for them coming up. I was definitely impressed with You mentioned Dakota Troost. I mean, he was hyper-targeted this game, it felt like. Only ended up coming away with those 2 receptions. Did tie for the team lead, along with Jalen Joseph for the Eagles, but Dakota Troost really impressed me. Had a couple of times where he was hitting the chest with the ball, couldn't quite bring it in. Outstretched hands. But he certainly seemed to be the best of the receivers from the group today. And Jordan Guile, 9 for 25 passing today. Seems like he could still take a step up on a couple of throws where he missed with his accuracy, but overall didn't look too bad whatsoever on my perspective.
No, I think at times his receivers just dropped it. I mean, look at the play at the end. He rifles in one right on the numbers of Troost, and an uncharacteristic drop for him. But overall, I think this is a CMU team where we kind of expect them to be, to be still an improvement over last season. But obviously, you're seeing here the difference in the top teams in the nation versus where CMU is trying to get to. But that is a long road.
Yeah, well, worth mentioning, homecoming festivities here for Central Methodist didn't quite go the way that many had imagined. The soccer games tonight postponed to a future date. Both the men's and the women's games, those were supposed to be coming up here very shortly, as Central Methodist was going to be playing host, but not going to be seeing that tonight. So this is the last game of the evening for the Eagles.
A long night. I think everybody's ready to go home.
I think so as well. Appreciate you all joining us tonight as well. If you stuck with us throughout the many hours of the day, we're getting closer and closer to 7 o'clock, 6:43. And with this game having started at 1 o'clock, that'll do it for our broadcast tonight. So, from myself, Austin Thomas, from Aaron Moser, and from the rest of the Central Methodist Eagles, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night.